All right, let's just get this out of the way. Forget everything you think you know about studying. Seriously, we're not going to talk about adding more hours to your day. Who has time for that? No, we're going to talk about making the hours you already put in actually, work for you. This is all about studying smarter, not harder. Okay, you know that student, right? We all do. The one who just kind of strolls into an exam looking all cool and collected while the rest of us are running on like 3 hours of sleep and a whole lot of caffeine-fueled panic. You're sitting there thinking, I worked twice as hard as them, yet they seem to ace everything without even breaking a sweat. So, what's their secret? Well, here's the thing. It's not magic. And believe it or not, they probably aren't geniuses or secretly studying 24/7. Nope. The truth is, they've just figured out a system that works with their brain instead of fighting against it. It's almost like they found the cheat codes for learning. And you know what? Today, we're going to share them with you. Okay, so first things first, we've got to bust a huge myth about studying. The idea that more effort automatically equals better results. It's just not true. It's time to separate the brute force methods from the brilliant ones. So let's just look at the two different paths here. On one side, you've got what I call the path of misery. You know it well. All-nighters, just rereading notes until your eyes glaze over, and the inevitable burnout and stress that comes with it. But then there's the smart path. This is all about consistent sleep, using something called active recall, focusing only on what really matters and working in short, powerful bursts. Look, this isn't about being lazy, it's about being efficient. It's about being strategic. All right, now before you even think about opening a textbook, you need to know this. The battle is often won or lost before it even starts. The best students, they get that. They know that successful studying begins with prepping your two most important tools, your brain and your environment. I mean, check this out. Your brain is about 75% water. Seriously, think of it like a high-performance engine. You wouldn't let your car's engine run dry, right? So why would you let your brain get dehydrated? If you're feeling sluggish or kind of foggy, the simplest fix is often the best one. Just drink a glass of water. It's like an instant reboot for your focus and memory. Okay, let me be super blunt here. All-nighters are a terrible idea. They are literally working against you. See, your brain is sharpest in the morning, and sleep is when your brain actually locks in what you learned. That's when it consolidates memories. The key is to get that internal clock regulated, so try to have a consistent bedtime. Even on weekends, your grades will absolutely thank you for it. Look, we all know distractions are the absolute enemy of focus. And get this, studies show that just having your phone nearby, even if it's turned off, can lower your concentration. So you have to build what I call a fortress of focus. Put that phone in another room, turn off all the notifications on your computer, tidy up your desk. Then set a timer and give yourself one clear, simple goal. Something like, I'm just going to summarize this one chapter. This turns studying from this big, scary monster into a series of small, easy wins. Okay, now for the good stuff. The real game changers. These are the techniques that seriously feel like cheat codes for your brain. This is where we stop just passively looking at the material and start actively learning it. And here is maybe the most powerful learning principle of all. Active recall. It's basically the act of pulling information out of your memory, not just pushing it in. And yeah, it's a struggle sometimes, but think of it like doing reps at the gym for your brain. That struggle, that effort to remember something, that's what builds the mental muscle. The harder it is to recall, the stronger that memory becomes when you finally lock it in. And this really gets to the core of why just rereading your notes doesn't work. It feels productive, doesn't it? But it's totally an illusion. It's like mental karaoke. Your eyes are moving across the words, you recognize them, but your brain is pretty much checked out. It's time to stop the karaoke and actually start the real workout. So here's a killer way to do that. It's called the Feynman technique. Want to test if you really get a concept? Try explaining it to a 5-year-old. Or, a rubber duck, whatever works. The moments where you stumble or have to use complicated jargon, boom, you've just found the gaps in your knowledge. So you go back, you fill in those gaps, and then you try to simplify it again. You repeat that until it's crystal clear. Okay, so we've got active learning down, and now let's build on that. Because it's not just about what you study, it's also about when and how often. These next couple of techniques are all about working with your brain's natural rhythms to master time and memory. So, here's a kind of scary fact. Our brains are designed to forget.
we naturally lose about 70% of new information within just 24 hours. It's called the forgetting curve. And this is why cramming is such a losing battle. But spaced repetition? Well, that's how you hack the curve. By reviewing stuff right as you're about to forget it, you're sending a powerful signal to your brain saying, hey, this is important. Keep it.
So what does that actually look like? It's super simple, really. You learn something new on day 1. Then, maybe on day 3, you give it a quick review. A week later, you test yourself on it. Every time you revisit it, you make that connection in your brain a little bit stronger. So by the time the exam rolls around, pulling up that info feels totally effortless.
Okay, let's talk about timing. Those marathon, multi-hour study sessions, they're a recipe for disaster. Your brain just can't focus for that long before it starts to, well, shut down. The secret is to work in short, intense bursts. You might have heard of it as the Pomodoro technique, but honestly, all you really need to remember is the 25-minute rule. And here's the rhythm. It's simple. You go for 25 minutes of pure, uninterrupted focus. No phone, no distractions. Then you take a 5-minute break, and I mean a real break. Get up, stretch, do anything but study. You do that 4 times, and then you reward yourself with a longer break. This whole system keeps your brain fresh, it prevents that awful burnout feeling, and honestly, it makes it so much easier to just start studying because you only have to commit to 25 minutes. So how do we wrap all this up? How do we actually put this into practice? See, it's not about just picking up a few random tips here and there. It's about a real, fundamental shift in how you think about learning. It's about adopting the mindset to become that student.
When you really boil it down, it comes to this. Top students focus their energy. They use the 80-20 rule. They figure out the 20% of the material that's going to get them 80% of the results on the test. They make learning an active sport, not a passive one. They know consistency is everything and cramming is nothing. They turn studying into a game of small victories. And most importantly, they work with their brain's natural tendencies, not against them. And that's really the big takeaway here. Success in school, in learning anything really, it's not about being a genius. It's not about being born smarter than anyone else. It's just about knowing how to make every single minute count. These strategies, they're the roadmap. They're accessible to anyone, they're practical, and they make every minute you spend studying so much more valuable. So I'll leave you with this question. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What could you accomplish if studying just wasn't a struggle anymore? What would you do with all that extra time? With less stress? With more confidence? You know, applying just one of these techniques can kickstart a massive change. So the only real question left is, which one are you going to start with?